Okay, so we have Notorious here. Notorious for what? No, just kidding. You've been hopping around guildless, I noticed. Let's start there. What's the history behind that?
Can you repeat it again? My microphone cut out.
Oh, that you. I see you hopping around guildless. Is there any specific reason for that?
I just came back about I think about a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
and given that I haven't really applied to anything yet, okay, little backstory. I had COVID about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of free time. So I came back into the game mostly to try to work very chill, not try to get right into the weeds between dailies and stuff, so I don't get myself burned out.
Yep. Exactly.
And I was in a guild before I left. Of course, they kicked me out. It's the normal.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I wanted to be a bit more active before I applied to either Scardor or any other guild.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, I'm just checking if that had to do anything with like the level of activity, because of course how you play and if you're like more seasonal or whatever, that can definitely play into what kind of progression path makes sense for you as a player, right?
Yeah, I try to put a bit of notes. I know I won't be as consistent as I used to be before because, for example, I just finished COVID. My wife got diagnosed yesterday with COVID, so I'm trying to keep everything in balance. But it's also a game of what's the available time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm trying to try to enjoy the game as it happens. I know this the progression is gonna be a lot slower than the usual, but I'm trying to make do with what a couple 2-3 hours per day and maybe 3-4 hours on the weekends.
Okay.
I know that I don't mind working on some Legion Link characters because it gives me a chance to try to just grind some leveling while watching some streams.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to take advantage with some of the events for the main, and I guess eventually try to start getting some money through the either bossing or the daily bossings and like progress the character a bit from there. You're gonna see that my gear is a bit all over the place because the last time I came back, I had even more time since the last time I played, and I just try to jump right back in. I had a good guild that helped me, but some of the things in that at least like about 2 years ago, it used to take a good time, like trying to get the Lotus. I don't remember the name for the coins and all that. Well, you'll see in the gear, but it's a little bit all over the place. But it was trying to do it little by little without having. I don't have a. I used to have a Kana mule, but in the time that you used to do
Bye-bye
it, like
station?
in the carnival thing, I don't remember the name for that.
Yeah, bye-bye station, right? With the
bye-bye station. After that, I haven't been playing the game about two and a half years ago. So,
yeah, so it's a bit different. Yeah. So you mentioned like you would still want to like just have fun and enjoy yourself is still more important, right? So what kind of things do you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I don't care doing. I mean, I don't mind doing the Legion and Links because it's usually pretty chill, at least for the beginning 140 levels. Because after that, I know you have to invest a little bit more time in each one. So I'll try to get all of them in 140 first, then try to just hit them little by little. I don't mind the grinding, but not per se the grinding. Let's say it's a little bit in the style that you kind of do it. You try to do everything during the day, but not stick to it as if it was like a deathbed. You have to do it every single thing every single day. So it's a little bit of a mix. I don't mind even. I remember in the guide you mentioned something about short-term goals, medium goals, and long-term. I don't mind that most of them will be for me perhaps long-term goals. So if you let me know, let's say if you tell me, okay, this like the little bit of the progression of the items I think you should be going through in that order. If it takes me more time than the average, I don't mind.
Yep,
it's fine for me.
Some of the short-term goals might be so that you can reach the long-term goal, right? It doesn't have to be like a separate goal. It can be like one of the steps that you need to make in the process to getting to that long-term goal, right?
Correct.
So
I'm not gonna be exactly. I'm not gonna be asking you. Okay, I want to be doing Veracilla. I want to be doing Hardwell right away. I know I'm very far away from that.
So, well, So since we're on that topic, so what are you able to do since you came back? You're trying to like figure out how the game works again, right? You have the new skills and everything.
Yeah, I got to play a little bit last time I came back. When I came back, already fifth job was out, but it was rather new to me.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see a little bit of my V matrix. That was, I think, with some of your guides. I was trying to make do with it. Lumi is pretty simple to make in terms of V matrix, so that helped me out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was trying to do that. I guess I don't even remember which ones were the bosses I was ready to do it. I was able to do solo. It wasn't. I don't think CRA was able to do it on my own yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. It'll be trying to get a gear progression that gets me towards advancing with the bosses. I know when I get to the guild, it'll be a little bit more fun because you usually can go do party up with the people that are around the same progression stage,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't mind that. I'm a multiplayer kind of guy. I really enjoy actually playing with people, not really playing on my own.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so so
I
when
know
you
that's a bit contradictory because I know bossing is where you get most parties right now, but I'm not on
mm-hmm.
the level that most people are doing the big boss parties, I believe.
Not yet, but you'd probably be surprised like how much stronger we can get you just by reorganizing everything you already have. And then from there on
Alright.
out, you'll find that, by using the compensation in the right place, the right place, like, in certain places, and by making like a more concise list of like which things dailies and weekly are useful to do and which things are not as important to do. And then once you just go, in that general direction, how many things come on your path, how quickly, because you do already have like a decent level character, right? You do have some foundation that we can work with. So let's try to, utilize
What's available?
yeah, utilize what's available,
Yeah.
and then
I-
putting it in a context that you can find enjoyable, so that you can feel like you're progressing without necessarily needing any kind of goal to feel like you've accomplished something, but that just like the fact that you're progressing is the goal in itself, kind of thing.
Yeah, I put the notes there that that's the reason I wanted to do it rather quickly. I have the compensation available, and I know based on this progression, I'll try to have a plan to how to use it correctly.
Yeah.
I just watched their video again yesterday of what it entails.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of them, for example, I think the weapon, it might not be a good choice for me in this character, given the specific Absol one I already have. And perhaps I can do it either on my Kana, or I could do it on perhaps another boss or character that could be fun to do bossing, not let's say end game bossing, but perhaps just a bossing mule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can get
But
pretty
yeah,
far with like a fake arcane, because when you say endgame, whatever falls under the categorization of endgame kind of changes all the time, right? Like with Neo, we're gonna get level 300 to come out, and like Chosen
that's
Seren
true.
and that kind of stuff.
That's
Like what is going to be endgame is probably going to move and shift
A lot.
towards probably to like Chaos. I don't know if Varys Hill is even going to be. That's going to probably be like the start of endgame, maybe. Right now, but maybe it's going to be even beyond that. Maybe it's going to be like only like Chaos Gloom, Chaos Darknell, and so it's very when you use the terms, always good to kind of say what
Say
you
the
mean
boss.
exactly. Yeah, maybe the boss, like everything Varusilla and up, or do you mean like Hard Lucid and Hard Will? Because for some people, their end game maybe functionally in the stages of the game, maybe the ones that I see, or maybe in some people will say like the early game ends when like mid game is Hard Lucid and Hard Will and stuff to some people, but there's some people that's like beyond end game, like they will never ever even reach that,
Yeah, I'm guessing I'm probably more towards that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't think, given the level of time that I can invest, I don't think it's let's say realistic to
Mm-hmm.
say that it's gonna be at any more than those the last ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
Because I think I beat it about 2 years ago. The biggest things, 2.5 years ago, the biggest things was H Damien, and I don't remember. I think Barricilla was like almost untouchable at that time,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. And at that time, I found that I was very far away from that. So I'm guessing maybe the start of my end game would be very close to that.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, and then as you get stronger, what is considered endgame for you might become more and more in line with what other people call endgame as you get access to more stuff as well. As you're active, you'll always like percentage-wise, you'll gain ground to whoever is in quote-unquote endgame. You'll always kind of not like catch up to them that you can surpass them, but like catch up to them in the sense that you can get close enough that you can almost do the same content. You'll only be like one or two bosses behind, because eventually the higher you go, the extra effort you need to do to get just one boss further is exponentially more. So yeah, you'll still, as long as you're active, you'll gain ground in that sense, and you'll enter the same stages as other people do. But
yeah, and usually the game tries to make it easier for you for you to achieve those bosses eventually as they implement newer ones.
Yeah, either by nerfing the boss or by having the content itself.
The gear progression easier to make.
Yeah, exactly. The accessibility to droplets and to drops, the arcane drops, is definitely going to be a big thing that we'll mention as well. We'll implement some things that we already heard from the player conference. Though I don't want to, speculate too much. And there's also like GMS Tespia going on right now.
And, confirmed, correct.
Yeah, but Tespia is like live, but since it's still Tespia, grain of salt with like a lot of things. But yeah, do want to make sure that we keep that in mind. And of course, that's not always fun to be like, well, we just have to wait for this. But it is like the most correct or complete thing that we can do, I guess. So
yeah, given the strategy that I won't be min-maxing every single second of the game, I can afford to wait some of these events, like you said. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. So you're now 222 on the Lumi, and you haven't. Have you or have you not checked, like, since you came back, what kind of content you are able to do and which you're not able to do?
I haven't tried, actually. I've been probably enjoying the stream and trying to do some links and legions in the time. I think I've done about 2 or 3 characters in the last few weeks.
Okay.
All to 140 at the moment.
So for links and legion, have you are you using my links command?
Yeah, correct. And I think a couple of days ago I asked if your order was the same order you would do it, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm already jumping the ones I already have because I first prioritized the one that benefited Lumi the most, and now I'm doing just in the order of the table, the sheet.
Yeah, that'll be like the ones that help your account the most, basically. So you can make it so that you can speed up through leveling the Legion, and then once the Legion is strong enough, it'll become like this whole self-sustaining force that allows you to just blow through new characters whenever they come out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think I've seen you play Adele a bit. I didn't know it before I just came back. Looks pretty cool. Like the character that most interests me, as let's say, it's not gonna be my second main. No, you only usually have one main. As a bossy meal, perhaps it would be Adele Arc, but the Kana, I really do enjoy a little bit of the play style of the Kana.
Okay.
So
well, these are all really like very solid characters, of course. You can't really go wrong with any of those. Any kind of effort to.
I've seen you recommend it in a lot, so I know any of them would be just fine as long as I enjoy the playstyle.
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to be the main thing, especially if you're planning on long term and the more slow progression. Then it's more important that you enjoy what you're doing than if they're like the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, when it comes to the so we have to consider the compensation. That's like the main thing, and then kind of like putting the account in order so that we can make sure that you are, because you've already worked on a lot of things, and then we have to make sure that the things that you've worked on you're utilizing in somewhat of an efficient manner so that you can actually feel the results of the work that you've put in, right? That's the nothing worse, but like if you work very hard and you get access to a lot of points, but then you don't set them in the right way or apply them in the right way, you might not feel that you're getting as much result out of what you're getting, which has a hidden treasure to it, because then if you
I wouldn't be surprised that sorry about that. I wouldn't be surprised if the V Matrix, for example, has a lot of improvements, because at the time I tried to do it, I was very new at it, and I just maxed like the tri notes that I was hurting. But I know I have a lot of things, and I tried, like you see, like the notes that are all there. I tried either not to waste them until I actually understand the content. That way you say. Because if I try to use it just to use it, I'm gonna be wasting my let's say coins or currency, whatever.
Yeah, or you might be without knowing it, and then afterwards you'll feel bad, and yeah.
Correct.
For sure, yeah. No, that's definitely a good like general strategy of approaching it, I would say. So let's go through it like kind of one topic at a time, and then see, you know, what do we need to know from those topics, what do we need to take to other topics, and what is like just like taken care of, and that we can move on to the next, and then we'll just make sure that you understand everything that we're going over, make sure that you know you can like yeah, you get like the priorities, so you know what's important to look for and what's not that important to look for, and then we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, perfect.
So for Legion and Links, you're just starting with the Links command. Is there any character that you had any questions about on like why it is where it is, or does everything make sense there?
Yeah, I haven't, since I'm pushing most of the ones. You can check a little bit there. Since I'm pushing most of the ones to 140, most of them are pretty like standard. The ones that I have to 200 mostly were either with a burning event or a terra burning.
Yeah.
Which I know you usually say to use a terra burning or with the characters you least want to play. But I know there's also like a strategy you can use it to get to 200, so you can use one of those characters you do like as a bossing mule, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. So that advice, that advice is mostly for mega burning, right, up to 150, because that's not really a loss either way. Like if you can use that to just grind up to 140, because I think most people will end up with the 6k, with just not that it's like really low or anything, but with a 6k Legion. I think that's achievable for most people, but also is good enough for most people. To have that be the goal, which just means an army of 140s and 150s, right? But when it comes to Terra Burn, you are definitely correct that there is more value in that, especially if you're just aiming, you know, again, versus the 8k, aiming for 6k, that using a Terra Burn might wield more value for you to make a bossing mule, to be able to do CRA, maybe, you know, one step higher, being able to do like HMAG and maybe CPAP and Akechi, because that's also another extra 150 mil per week that you can make. Because those boss crystals are really big, and that could be done pretty quickly now because of how much extra power creep there is in the 5th job, because you get 4 of those very strong 5th job skills and extra slots to equip them all in, versus using it only for the Legion levels and then kind of just like having that sit in your account. So that's more of a thing, and that has more value if you don't have like a dedicated farmer on your account. If you already have a dedicated farmer, then you're probably just using Terra Burns just to knock out more Legion to fund your main, right? Because then you really, with that setup, you're really just looking to, everything you do is like to funnel into one character. Like all of the money goes into one character, all of the nodes, all of the power, all of the link skills, everything's just dedicated to make one character the strongest it can possibly be.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas in, you know, some other build-up might be just like in general that you're using Links and Legion to just fund your account, so that whichever character you end up playing, you can always make it stronger than it would be, but just by itself.
Yeah, regarding the farmer, for example, I know making a kind of farmer, I would enjoy it because I know I enjoy the playstyle, but I know it takes it takes a good amount of funding as well. So I'm not trying to divide the small amount of progression I'll be able to do between 2 characters. So I'm guessing I'm trying to get Lumi to a decent state that perhaps with the findings or the mesos I get and all that I get on the Lumi, I can just start little bit by little either funding the Kana or something in that sense.
Yeah, so for that, there's a few factors. I mentioned those during other sessions as well. One of the main factors for Kana is that you have the flexibility, right? That you can just do like 30 minutes, you can do 40 minutes, you can do 20 minutes. If you have a busy life schedule, maybe, you know, people with young kids or something who might have to just run away from the computer at various times. If you pop like a 2-hour totem and then you're just stuck and then you have to like leave your totem after 15 minutes, that just feels really shitty.
That's exactly like my current state. I got a 11-month-old.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've heard that those could sometimes be a little bit of a handful. You know,
Correct.
with like
those are usually what shortens my playing hours.
yeah, totally understandable. Yeah, tanties people use in the chat. Yeah, that probably happens a lot. Yeah, so that increases the value of having a Kana that can farm for you and to help you promote or just like grow your account as a whole, definitely by a lot. Yeah, but you're definitely right that the other side of that is that if you start with that too soon, or disproportionately spend too much money there, you have some people that end up with like a 247 Kana that make like a lot of money, and then their main is only like 220 or something. It almost feels weird to play more on the main because, I mean, the Kana is already so much stronger, then they just end up being a Kana main. That happens to a lot of people as well. Because Kana is a really strong class by itself as well, so there's nothing wrong with maining that either.
Yeah, it makes sense. I remember the time when in the bye-bye station, they felt I was investing a lot of time to play in the Kana, and not as much as the main. Or if I had to play as much time in both, I was sacrificing a lot of like in real life hours or whatever. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I have complete freedom of like when I allocate the time and how much I allocate. So I'm trying to look from your perspective as much as possible. Once you rely on totems and you still have room to use totems, it's still better to be like, I'm gonna pop a totem and then you only use half an hour on a totem on the Lumi, versus and then, you know, as long as you don't run out of totems by like the 15th of the month and then the last 15 days you can't do anything, right? So it kind of depends on your coverage of totems now as well. So are you able to buy out all the totems, and is it typically enough for a month, or do you have...
I have totems didn't exist last time I played, but from what I've gathered in the stream, if I do make a consistent getting the reward points, I could be able to max it out. Not sure though.
Yeah, so there's 15 you can buy from the shop, and then there's 2 extra you get from the daily login. So that's up to 17 per month, which basically means if you use one every other day, like a 2-hour session every other day, then you can cover the whole month.
Yeah, I think I'll be fine because I'll usually have more time to play on the weekends, so I can maybe there's more probably that I can spend 6 hours on the game on a weekend rather than having that on the weekdays.
Exactly, and then the weekdays will be more filled with doing dailies, and maybe like a little and a little bit of Legion and Links, and then in the weekend it'll be like grinding sessions and events and stuff like that.
Exactly like that. That's what I'm trying to achieve within the time frame. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So so in that sense, like if you look at it like that, if you have 17, you have 4 weekends every month, and then let's say you use 2 totems per day in every weekend, then you have 4 weekends, 4 totems, 16. So then you can have full totem coverage for grinding on your main, and then during the week you have just like dailies and Legion and stuff.
Correct. That's what I've been doing. Well, not grinding, but I've been doing the dailies and weekly. Dailies and Legions and legs during the weekdays.
Yeah, so so that's pretty cool. So in relation to what to Terra burn, so Neo in KMS had 2 Terra burns, and if you completed both of those, also gave you one of those fake Absolab items, the weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably be doing. I have an arc which has been very interesting. I think I'll be doing an Adele. And I don't know what I'll be doing for the second one. Perhaps an arc, because the arc is 150. I can still make another one, I guess, and check through that.
Yeah, you can just sit in your Legion and count for levels until.
Correct. Yeah, until I fill the other 20 other slots I'm missing. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, if those classes look interesting to you, you want to have a head start. Adele is a class that's just very, very strong by itself already, and that probably won't have any trouble getting to that point even without the Terra burn. So there might be some other classes, if you're also interested in them, that might have a little bit more to get more value out of the Terra burn, in the sense that it like lifts them up a little bit higher and gets you there more easily. I would say Adele is already very strong by itself.
I know. So you're saying it makes more sense trying to use it on another character that's still interesting, but it's not that OP at the moment.
Yeah, to get to that point where you could do the bosses, it'll get more value out of the Terra burn to get to that point where you can see if you will enjoy it, basically. Because Adele is pretty OP, yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So if there's any, what were any other classes? Is it Arc, Kana?
I guess Arc mostly because I have the kind of 200 and something,
Mm-hmm.
and but it'll probably be an Arc, and I'll see if I think of any other. I'm usually a long range kind of guy. I've always been playing either Night Lord or I playing any other type of mage.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well,
even
Night
though
Lord
Adele,
is.
I know Adele is a warrior, but it has so many skills that
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Night Lord
Um,
is not that long range anymore, by the way.
that's what I've been
Yeah. They're becoming
checking.
more and
Yeah,
more close range, especially
yeah.
during the burst. You have to be like on top of the boss.
And since forever, it has always been very, very high funding. So I think,
Yeah, their fifth job is
uh,
their burst is really good, but you're just purely circling around having good burst, and then off burst you're just throwing a little bit damage here and there. Just make sure not to die, and then go hard on the burst again.
yeah, I
Kind of.
think either for the Turban, I'll be thinking about perhaps an arc, and I have to think a little bit more for the second one because I'm
Hmm.
guessing if the new character, I don't remember if the new event brings the new character or not,
Right, the
Kane.
cane, yeah. Hmm.
But I know you usually can't use it for the new character, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
All right. I'll think about it a little bit more to see if I even have to choose
Hmm.
one of the ones I already have. See if I really like it enough to push it to 200.
Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive because I think most of the characters that are very strong as bossing mules, they kind of also peak early, right? That's why they're so good at bossing mules, which also means that disproportionately they will always get a little bit less value out of the Terror Burn because they peak so early. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
counterintuitive. I think the one class that might be a little bit slow to get to 200, but that then peaks really well with fifth job, I would say are classes like Dual Blade, Hero, and Cannoneer, like those classes. I think those are also pretty solid, I think, for bossing mules. And maybe Buccaneer, but that one is a little bit hit or miss depending on what you like for playstyle. But those classes
Yeah.
are very, very solid for bossing mules, but they have a lot more trouble getting to fifth job in the first place. So those would be good classes to consider as well.
Yeah. I'll give it a check since I haven't. I think I haven't played any of those three.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, and then you would also get the weapon. I guess you can throw the weapon on a character that is maybe around 150 but has a good level 200 buff or something like that. Maybe on a jet or on a mechanic.
Because you get the weapon not obligatory on the not mandatory on the character that you get it to 200. You just get it and you can redeem it in another one.
Yeah, you get one of those boxes that's like transferable within your account, and then whatever character you open it up with, you can pick the weapon for that character.
All right.
So that'll give it a nice boost to be able to get like the double S bonus, for example. So I'm mentioning it would be like Jet, Hayato, or Shade would be like good examples because you get that extra critical damage when you reach level 200 for the Legion member bonus.
Yeah, that sounds good. And because usually I know I benefit a lot as a Lumi to get everybody does to getting critical percentage.
Yeah. What's its critical percentage? Critical damage. Not critical rate, but we'll look at critical rate. Critical rate is very important. But as we go through these systems, right, and that's why the links is built up like that. That's why I'm not going into critical rate specifically, because the critical rate is very high up on the list, right? And all the characters that you're making take into account getting a lot of critical rate access, mainly because new characters a lot of them tend to start with low critical rate but with decent critical damage, and then if you can give them a lot of critical rate when you're starting out on them, their damage is crazy from the beginning and you can start killing very, very quickly. That's the
all right. Understood.
Mm-hmm. That's I think one of the most underestimated things in general to like building your Legion is that a lot of people go for EXP, damage, but critical rate in the beginning I think is way more important because it accesses critical damage, which does more damage than all the other two ever could.
Yeah, correct.
And killing monsters twice as fast is better than gaining 10% EXP.
Yeah, definitely.
With that in mind though, the Beast Tamer and the Zero will hopefully be coming back. You know that Zero is available in Reboot?
Yeah, I heard it between my off time and when I just came back to the stream that you could have gotten Zero for a while. It's like the Beast Tamer. So next time it comes back, and I'll try to get it right away because I see that the kill skills are actually pretty good.
Yeah, Lynx and Legion both useful. And in Neo, actually, what they did for Reboot is they made Zero permanently creatable. So that might be possible that they do that for us as well, but only for Reboot, apparently. But Beast-Tamer still on and off, but it's good to just have one. But you have a Beast-Tamer already, I see. But yeah, good to have a 0, because that block gives you... It's crazy amount of experience. It's like, I think a level 200 0 gives you the same amount of experience as filling the whole block in your Legion board with like 40 pieces. So
that's
it's
crazy.
Yeah.
And I know somebody mentioned on the comments, I also need to prop up a little bit of the mechanic, because I know buff duration is very, very good for me and Lumi as a Lumi.
Yes, true. Yeah, it's very useful for sure. Longer.
But that was earlier. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, you broke up a little bit. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, it cut off. I know the inner abilities for mine are a little bit they are scuffed, because I was trying to get them into I think an event before I left the game, and I didn't actually get anything, so that's why it doesn't look like I have anything special right now.
Yeah, I'm keeping that in mind as well. I saw that you have what is it, magic attack?
I think. Something. I think the last thing I got when I only had like 2 or 3 circulators left or honor EXP.
Yeah, keeping that in mind as well with inner ability, with critical rate. That's all like working on in the back of my mind as well. Yeah, because there's also changes for Lumi coming after Neo, which will make getting critical rate for Lumi's a lot easier. They're changing the passive one that gives you like either critical rate, or is it magic attack or intellect or something, based on if your MP is higher than your HP or vice versa.
Oh, yeah,
or damage, I think. Percentage damage. Yeah, they lowered both of those effects a little bit, but they're just always active passive after the change, so that you'll always have like 15% crit, I think, from it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
our base crit is really low.
Yeah, and it's just better than having to aim for 115 or like for 120, so that when it turns off, you don't go below 100% crit. It's better to just be able to go for 85 always.
Yeah, perfect.
So we'll keep that in mind as well.
Sure thing.
Actually, you're a bit more quiet now than you were before.
Oh, I mean the mic?
Yeah, I think because of what happened.
Let me know if you can hear now better.
Wait, can you rejoin the call? Maybe it resets.
Sure thing. Give me a second.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, there you are.
Sounds better, or just about the same?
It's about the same. Maybe it's the distance from the microphone. I don't know if you're... Do you have like a headset that's like 2-in-1?
Yeah, but the mic... I think the mic is at the last legs before it dies, so maybe that's why.
I see, yeah. We have...
sorry about that.
We have some of those headsets at every household where they kind of still work, but they don't really work that well anymore.
Yeah, I think I paid about $17 for this headset, so it's long overdue. It's been about 2 years. I think it's long overdue, so that he can die.
Okay, it's written off already.
Correct, 100%. I'll try to speak a little bit louder too.
Yeah. Okay, that would be nice. Okay, so I'll make sure the music isn't overpowering it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so with Lynx, Legion, and Neo, and then I guess the other thing we could tie into this is the compensation, right? Which parts of the compensation are you mostly worried about? Because you looked at it. I think mainly the weapon.
I know you already mentioned this a bit in the video. I know the potions, you have to use it. In its last position, usually 228, 229. Like the farther, the better. I know the weapon would be an possible concern, perhaps for my Kana, as I know the Kana is very underpowered right now, even though it's already 200, because it doesn't really have a lot of gear. The only thing good it has the gold ship badge, so that's I know that's a good thing. But I think that's about it. I'm kind of forgetting the other stuff. I know all of them are special. Oh, the arcane stones. That's not
the symbols.
I mean the symbol. Sorry, I know that I'll probably be using it on this character, but I know there's an argument for me to try to push to get the 4th symbol and try to level that one up, because I think you commented that usually one of the slowest ones to progress.
Yes, those have the lowest amount of daily symbols that you can get. The last 2 areas, so Morass and the Sphera, 230 and 235. Yeah.
Correct. So
It
I
might seem
could
very
see
far
it.
away, but with
For
totems
me,
and
it
with
seems far. Yeah, it
yeah.
seems far away, but I'll try to do it with the totems and just grind
Well,
it
and
out.
triple EXP coupons from the box, right? That's
Correct.
also very good. And on top of that, we'll also, kind of like realign everything that you've got going on this account. I think we can make you quite a bit stronger. I think one of the main things we'll probably work on is like with crit rate, I think. If you can get that one higher up by just what seems like sacrificing a lot of other stuff, but then if you end up with 100% instead, that'll just make your baseline damage so much higher, and then you'll be able to two-shot or one-shot or two-shot, which doesn't really matter, right? Because you attack pretty quickly, so if you can two-shot it, still you clear before the respawn happens, right?
Correct, yes.
We'll be able to do that way faster, and then your leveling speed together with the coupons and everything, and then with the level up potions, with the symbols getting you more arcane power and everything, that will help you speed up your progress quite quickly. And most of the items, when you pick them up, have like 90-day duration. So if in the next 3 months you're decently active, you will have more than enough time to use them on a higher level area.
Yeah, I would love to try that. Yeah, I'll try to make it my goal to see how far I can push it, at least to get to 230, 235.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't work, you can always still use the symbols on an earlier area. Anyway.
Yeah, on the earlier area, I'm guessing any other areas are the lowest. Yeah.
Yeah, probably on Lacaline, right? Because of Dream Defender, that's slowing you down a bit more. Also, after Neo, Vanishing Journey and Choo-Choo are going to speed up even more, so that's going to make them go even faster.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, wait. So for the compensation, so which parts of the compensation were? Do you have like any questions about?
Yeah, I don't think I have any more like basic questions, but perhaps an efficient way that you consider I can use them based on what you've heard so far. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I usually try to hear everything you show on the stream and other progressions, so I can try to keep myself in the loop of what is efficient or the proper way to do a couple things.
I see.
So I hope that in the time I don't waste any other of the compensation items.
Yeah, I guess the main thing will be. I mean the coupons make sense. The pet makes sense. The symbols make sense, right? It's mostly the weapon where to take it.
Yeah, that was one that I was want to confirm with you, because probably I know it wasn't going to replace the Lumi one probably, so it makes sense to push it onto the Kana if it eventually gets to be used, because it's permanent, right?
It is permanent, yeah, but it has it's locked with the potential, and that's the fact that the potential is locked is one of the main reasons why. It's one of those things like with the what we talked about before, right? With using the Terra Burn, it's like, well, everyone will benefit, but who will benefit more from it, right? That's kind of like the reason why you want to optimize where to use it. If you like took it on your Lumi right now, you would get like a huge damage increase. Of course, right? Because the base stats are so much higher, you can just get a decent flame on it, and it'd be like bam. But of course, if you could get way bigger gains on another character that you want to get serious with, then that would have more value. The thing with the Kana is that the Kana, if you are going to mainly use the Kana for farming, then the potential is not very good, right? Because it's locked to percentage critical rate, percentage damage, which that does something, I guess, and then percentage boss damage. So the potential is almost completely useless when it comes to mobbing.
Okay.
Especially for a Kana also, because the Kana deals a lot of their damage with summons, and summons cannot deal crits. So also the 12% crit rate is very limited use for a Kana. And then on if you would use it on Haku, it's even worse, because then the potential does absolutely nothing, like a full zero. So for a Kana, it's usually not the priority, unless you're thinking of also making the Kana maybe into a bossing mule and taking it further. Then there will be a lot more value in the potential for the weapon, of course. And it'll save you a lot of the money also on the build-up for the Kana. So that could be an option for you. Because if you also like the playstyle, right, it's possible that you end up bossing more with it and actually doing more content with it. Because there's a lot of people like Nate in the chat who just made a Kana for Kana farming, and then he made a 275 Kana. So
and
ended up being Kana main, so,
yeah.
Yes, things change sometimes.
I remember that story when the Arcana, the meta started. People usually just jumped to Kana main if they liked it enough.
Yeah, because a lot of it, you don't want to overgear it with Mazo, but that does mean that you have to go pretty hard on the nodes. And then once your nodes are maxed and you realize how strong they actually are and how good domain is and how everyone is looking for a Kana for every single party always, it's very easy to get into the parties, even when you have very low requirements. And then people saw how quickly they could progress.
Yeah, so it helps to progress a lot faster because everybody needs you.
Exactly, yeah. Because
it's like way back then when you needed a cleric because you needed a heal, so you knew you were
going
to get into a party anyway.
The bishops needed, or the priests, I should say, needed hyperbody because otherwise they would use too many potions and go broke. So then as a Dark Knight, it was very easy to get a party because everyone wanted a bishop for the heal and the holy symbol, but they wanted a Dark Knight to be able to not die. So then if you just made a Dark Knight, you would get into or Dragon Knight back then, you would get into all the parties like that. So that was like a free ticket in. So yeah, there's like a supply and demand for classes for sure. And even though there are so many Kanas, there's still always like demand for more. So yeah, that helps with the progression. So there are definitely a lot of options. I would probably say that taking it on your Lumi is definitely not rank 1. If you do like the playstyle of Kana and there is like option that you do more bosses and do more content with it, because Kana is such a good support, it is a little bit weaker early on as like a solo bosser, especially because it has trouble getting crit rate and IED, which are very important to be able to deal your damage to the bosses, right? So for that reason, the weapon would help your Kana a lot by compensating a little bit for the losses of there without having to spend a lot of money on the Kana because the base stats of the fan will be so good. So that in your situation, I think that will be probably the best option because those other bossing mules can get to the point where you can kill CRA and everything pretty reliably. They don't need to rely on the arcane weapon at all. It'll make it easier, but most of those classes have such a good 5th job kit that they can definitely organically grow to be able to do those things with like temporary Fafnir stuff or even just with Sweetwater stuff and some other bossing gear.
All right. I'll keep it in mind as a priority to see if I actually give it to Kana. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That does mean though.
It doesn't mean that if you. I'm guessing as I mentioned before, it doesn't mean that if you actually give it to the character, you can't change it forever. I mean, you can eventually upgrade it as well. I guess.
Yeah, so you would definitely want to flame it for a good flame because they have such good base stats. So just like a solid magic attack flame on it will go a very long way. And then if you're going to start bossing with it, then you might even want to min-max on the flame a little bit to get like percentage damage or boss damage along with the magic attack. And it'll stay your main attacking fan for a long time before you switch it out. Because it will basically mean that you don't have to get the Absolab fan for your main as a main weapon, but that you just go like 5 set with the hat instead and just break up the CRA set because that's how good the weapon is still going to be.
All right.
If you're going Absolab on the Kana, and then you do get you probably will get an Absolab fan, but then just give that one to Haku instead.
All right, makes sense. Something I didn't mention and put on the URL just in case it matters. I haven't checked the exchange for the rebirth flames in case I had some compensation.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mention it. It's probably going to be a very low number, anyways.
Well, you took a break for like 2.5 years, you said, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and they only kept the records for 2 years, so it's possible that it's actually like completely zero if you didn't play at all during that time.
Yeah, I'm in the Maple admin right now. It says receive the rebirth flame reward, but I don't know if it's gonna get another confirmation.
Yeah, if you click it, it says it just means that you can receive all the points on the server that you're currently on.
Yeah, confirmed. It's only 119 8 points, so it's nothing at all for it.
Mm-hmm. So that's like 39 Eternals.
Yeah. I imagine. It was gonna be pretty low because I think I stopped playing in 2019, so very early.
Yeah, you probably caught like the last 2 weeks or something. And
correct.
Then, okay, so that's also something to keep in mind. Is there anything else from the compensation that you were wondering?
No. I think not.
Yeah, because like the pet you can transfer through storage with characters that share. The experience coupons, both the box and the coupons that come from the box are still transferable as well. So let's say that you have coupons that are about to expire, but you don't want to train on the Lumi. You could just use them on a Legion Mule as well to like speed that one up. It's always better to use it on something except other than let it expire, right? But you don't have to do it every week, right? You have 8 weeks, and then you can pick it up in 5 different weeks. So you can also just wait a week if you don't if you can't really play that week, or you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind in the compensation. And I think you mentioned something else. I don't remember now. Oh, regarding the pet, I'll probably be the one I'll be playing. If I do actually start training the Lumi, I'll probably put it there so it can help me a bit carry more of the missiles while training. Perhaps,
Yeah,
not
you'll
sure.
be able to focus way more on just training and pathing through the map, rather
Correct.
than having to dig into the corners. And some maps with a little bit more small platforms will be easier to loot, and you won't have to rely as much on using like your static big skills like the door and the conduit, I think, to make sure that they keep hitting over time while you're looting. You can just like throw those out the whole time whenever they're off cooldown more reliably, and then the pet will just, the rates will get a lot better because of that. And you kind of see a meta shift as well to some maps that are inherently a little bit worse because they're like hard to loot, but now they're more popular because the pet just makes looting so much easier. So if the maps just have more monsters in it, then that one, those became a little bit more popular now. So that might happen to you as well.
And yeah, and as you mentioned, the other Kana has already 3 pets. They're not active right now, but eventually I will get them active, so that'll be covered by that.
Okay. Yeah, that'll. If you have 3 pets, that'll definitely cover a lot of looting as well. Okay, so all of the Legion stuff and like which characters to make, that's all clear.
Yeah. I think
And the compensation stuff is clear as well.
I think so. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hear again. I'll check the VOD again. I'm recording as well, just in case. But I think it's all.
Oh, you broke up a little bit there. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was gonna check that. Yeah, it's all clear. Compensation and Legion limbs are clear.
Okay. So the major parts of like your progression and moving forward together with all of those is of course going to be nodes and symbols, right? So when it comes to symbol dailies, you're aware of all of the 2 dailies per area except for Morass and Asphera?
Yes. If I believe so, if I just wanted to check if they have been updated in the last few years. I know. Choo Choo, you had to do H Muro, and I think that was it for the Choo Choo Island, and for the
Yes, so Choo also has a
Vanish-
kill and gather quest, just like all the other 4. So the first 4 areas now each have 2. So one is like NPC that says like kill monsters or gather items, and then you can re-roll some. And then the other one is like a little mini game thing. So the first 4 areas all have both of those now.
All right, perfect. I didn't. I think I never actually did the Choo Choo Island one, so I'll keep that in mind.
That's
and
one.
The Vanishing Journey, yes, I know. I've been trying to do it on the daily. Yeah.
So Spectrum and the kills.
Correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
the one I haven't done since I came back. I know it's bad, but I wasn't trying to do much regarding the time. Was the Dream Defender that I know I have to do a little bit more, so I can push the Lash Lane one.
Yeah, that's the slowest one in the beginning for sure because of the build up on Dream Defender and that also has a daily kill quest, but that together Choo Choo and Lechaline daily kill quest is only for 4 symbols each, so that's pretty slow. It's a nice little extra, of course, but it's pretty slow. The Choo Choo kill quest is from the chef who's in the main town, by the way, so you can talk to him.
Yeah, I'll keep it. I'll keep it in mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the kill quest in Lechaline is from the guy with the mask. He's one map to the north of the
one map, like in the little
the town
map. Yeah.
Yeah, the little hideout with from the storyline. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Typically, if you are doing the Lechaline one, reroll if you have Galinas, because that's the Chicken Festival 1 map. That's where a lot of Kanas farm, so it's very hard to find a map there. So if you just keep whatever daily you have, if you have Galinas, then reroll that one, because that's usually it takes longer to find a map than to complete any other daily, basically. So
that's great. Yeah, I was the last times that we're doing the Tobin Hero and some of those kill quests. I was doing it on I think Chicken Festival 3, which is one of the maps that they usually recommend for my level to train as well. So I think I got a little bit of EXP in that time.
Oh yeah. I found with my Adele just starting up and doing the symbol dailies, and then just leveling through that and level up potions and just doing the dailies all the time. I got from level 214 to 235 now without actually like training or using totems ever. Just
that's good.
yeah, just by doing daily, because it's basically like training, but they're like forcing you to train kind of by doing the dailies. But also like the Legion, the arcane power is now like over 1,000 just for constantly doing it. And then while you're doing that as well, you can do the events on the side that sometimes give extra symbols, or it gives like currency for a shop that you can buy items. So it's like all the little bits help on the side. But it's definitely one of the more important things, even if you're just in the period or like during the week, right, when you're mostly working on Legion and Links. It's very good to just do a little bit of symbol dailies every day, because you'll get so much stronger over time. There's so much stat from it. The arcane power will help you when you go to a new area to kill faster there and not get like hit a huge wall, right? When you don't have enough arcane power to kill quickly there. They'll definitely help you a lot. So that's good to keep building up over time.
I did. I know it's not here, but I did get the heart and for the Kana as well.
Oh,
okay. I think the only two characters I did were those, because I hate with all my god the jumping quest.
Yeah, it's not your thing. That's okay.
No.
You did enough then. If you got it on 2 characters, that's already pretty good.
I think I did so many jump quests in the very early stages of Maple Story that I don't want to do jump quests anymore.
Oh yeah, you have a little bit PTSD from the old forest of suffering and whatever they're called.
Yeah, too much. The Sleepywood jump quest.
Oh yeah, with the throwing stars, like knocking you off the... And they were like the same color as the background. You could barely see them.
And you couldn't even jump down the steps before, so you had to do like going down, and the ropes was just as important as going up.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. Very high risk, and then you miss like one little jump at the end. You go all the way down.
Yeah. Yep.
What is a save point? Yeah. At least you have some save points now, right? In the
correct.
In OneDroid.
It's just crazy. Too much PTSD.
Yeah, too much bad experience. Yeah, so as long as the symbols, and then Dream Defender, Dream Defender is a little bit tricky, of course. Dream Defender is has boss monsters in it, so boss damage does help there. That's a thing to keep in mind.
Good, yeah.
In general, it's a good idea to just pop a lot of buffs, just get really strong, and just climb as high as possible. And then you have, you know how it works with the saved maps and everything?
I don't think I think I tried it once that I got to, I don't remember the level, and after that I started starting at that level. I'm guessing you're mentioning that, right? You're referring to that?
Yeah, so whatever floor is like divided by 10 that you cleared the highest, like every floor divided by 10 will just give a save spot, so like 10, 20, 30, etc. And then you can start from any saved floor that you want. So if you can like barely do 30 with all of your buffs on, and one day you don't have your buffs but you want to go in quickly, there's a good chance that you might fail 30 if you go right in there. So then it might be better to go into 20, for example.
All right, makes sense. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, so it's a good idea, especially if you're also in a guild. Like you can just pop all the guild skills every day and then just do it while you have the guild skills active, right? That way you can boost your progress a little bit. You just get the amount of coins equal to the floor that was the highest floor that you cleared. But it's best, to just climb once, see how far you can get. Like, let's say the highest you can get is 34 or something. You could try again at 30 and see if you can reach 40. Because the hard thing is that you're constantly doing it, right? So you can't use all of your burst at once. You always have to use your skills like separate from each other to make sure that you speed up over a long period of time, that your DPM goes up instead of your DPS going very high. But once you reach a certain floor, then you wait for all your cooldowns to come back. Then you can hard DPS on that one floor. Because if you just, let's say that you can clear 42, well, that means that you can probably, if you have all your burst, if you're pretty bursty class, you go into 40, you throw everything at 40, you clear 40, and then you just leave again, and then boom, you get 40 coins. That's way more useful for your time than to try to get to 42 again, right? Because you have to do 3 floors for 2 extra coins versus 1 floor for 40 coins.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So you just wait until you either make really big upgrades, or until you have like a lot of extra buffs or something, or until you save up the points, because you also get points in Dream Defender that you can use some special abilities with. The most used is the bell, and the bell wakes up one of the music boxes, and it immediately changes it to the other color. So the bar on top immediately starts going to the right side instead of to the wrong side. And that can help you clear floors very quickly when your skills are down. So for example, the first one, you use like 2 buff skills. You clear the first one really quickly. Then your skills are down. The second one, boom, you use one of the bells, clear the other 2 boxes. And then maybe the third one of your skills is back, right? And then you kind of like rotate between using the music, using the bells to help you get a little bit faster through some of the waves where you run out of skills. Or, you know, if it's, if you're like, you see that the bar is moving too fast on the other side, or that the music boxes start flashing and you're going to fail, then use the bell really quickly to give yourself a little bit more time to maybe clear the wave. Because you can save up to 3,000 points. So it's a good idea to just, you know, when you're just going in, clearing out, you'll just slowly build up points over time. And then a combination of getting stronger, using all your buffs, and using the bells, you might be able to jump to the next 10 floor, and then you can do that one reliably with all of your buffs and with all of your skills off cooldown like that.
All right.
And then after you do your 3 runs, you can talk to the NPCs, the character NPCs next to the tower.
To get the extra.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. That'll be that, and then once you get to Arcana, then you get to do the real fun daily, which is Spirit Savior, which is notoriously the worst for Lumi out of everything in the game, basically.
I've heard a lot about it. Yes, I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah,
I would look for specific Spirit Savior guides for Lumis. They're probably out there on YouTube that will help you. I think the thing you try to do is to make sure that you're very close to equilibrium before you go in. And then as soon as you go in, you like trigger equilibrium so that you can teleport way faster and way more, right? So get through the map very quickly. And then when it ends, you can trigger your own equilibrium, right? And basically by that, try to get as far as possible with that, and then just wait outside and like recharge and go, try the same thing again, kind of like that. You'll probably get a hang of it. If Lumi's your main, you'll probably pick up some tricks.
I'm used to the trying to double equilibrium very close by.
Yeah. That, and you'll learn to use rope lift well. Don't rely on rope lift too much in the beginning, because it actually slows you down a lot if you don't use it perfectly, and then you might get caught by the spirit. But there are definitely certain situations where using rope lift is very useful, because it stops your momentum. If you use the jumpers to go from one side to the other, and then you rope lift, then you just, you don't swing all the way to one side of the map, but you go straight up. So that helps you stop your momentum and hit certain spirits from the beginning. I also have a Spirit Savior video with some tips about like how you can make sure the minimap shows up properly, so you can get a better idea of where to path and which is the next spirit that we're going to take, etc. And that'll help you out more.
I believe I have it in watch later. Until I get to the level. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to aim for 10k points each run, so that you can get 30k points in total, and it gives you 10 symbols just from Spirit Savior. And then the kill quest in Arcana gives you 8 a day. So if you can max out Spirit Savior and just do the regular kill quest, you can get 18 symbols per day from Arcana, which is really, really good. So
yeah, that's actually pretty good.
That's almost the same as Choo Choo gives 19 if you do it perfectly now, and will give 23 after the Neo change. So the Arcana catches up to Lacaline very quickly, typically, because of Dream Defender.
I think I'm gonna push a lot to get the level, so I can get use their arcane symbol from compensation in the Arcana one.
Yeah, you could do that. I think because Arcana will level up so quickly, I think it'll be a good idea to try to get. You could probably use level up potions to just boost 225 now. Get Arcana access, because the one thing also that you get right when you get a new area with new dailies is that you have to do 1 fewer dailies on the daily before. Yeah, you can auto complete. So with that, and then with the training potions, I think you can get to 230 pretty quickly. And then 230 is really good, because then you only have to do 1 Dream Defender tower, and then you auto complete the other 2, and that saves you a lot of time. Also,
there's a lot of benefits to pushing to 230 then.
Yeah, and then to 235 speeds up Spirit Savior more. Then you only have to do 1 10k run, and then you can auto complete the other 2 and be done with Spirit Savior immediately. And since Spirit Savior is one of the slower and most annoying ones for Lumi, that saves you a lot of time in the day, and sometimes a lot of frustration depending on how good you are at it.
Yeah.
And then, because Morass and Asphera only give you up to 8 symbols a day each, because they only have kill and gather quests, and because you unlock them the latest, they will level the slowest. and therefore they will be the lowest level, and therefore putting your arcane symbols into those will give you the most arcane power and the most intellect as well from leveling those up instead.
I think I'll go with your strategy then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're very close to the next area, you can pop the level up potions, boom, boost in. So the one thing will be, though, that if you're leveling very quickly with the potions, is that the pre-quest might be a bit tricky, and the dailies might be a bit tricky in the beginning, because the highest level monsters in the areas are like 15 levels above you, right? So the combination of the 15 levels plus the arcane power requirement is going to be a pretty big gap. So that might make the dailies take quite a bit. So don't hesitate to like ask someone if you want to do dailies together or something. If someone is in the map, right? You like party play. Yeah, I always do that.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to do dailies together? Like ask in the chat or ask in the Discord. Or,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people
again.
that actually don't mind doing it, so I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I've noticed just if you ask, a lot of people just say, yeah, sure. Or they're like, oh, I'm almost done, but I can stay a little bit longer. Like most people actually don't mind. And I think the more people are not afraid to ask, the more that people will be okay with doing it. And sometimes people will be like, oh, you have another one? Oh, let's do that one together or something. Yeah, and that can save you a lot of time, especially once you get to Asphera and the highest level mobs are like level 248, 249, 250, and you're just 235 with like half the arcane power requirement. Like it could take a while to... Like if you have Dark Executors or something, the highest level ones, I think they're like level 249 or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They could be pretty... Yeah, they're 249, so if you're at 235 and you just enter the area, it could be a bit tricky if you're a little bit under-geared. But we'll make sure also that all of your other stuff is on point, right? To make sure that you'll be stronger than you are now just for logging into your character.
All right.
Yeah. So that takes care of all of the symbols with the progression and the idea of when to use all of that compensation, right?
Yeah, correct. Perfect.
So then the other part that is going to be the biggest part of your damage is your matrix. So I see that you have a lot of nodes, right?
I want to
like 100.
If I put all of them, I thought that was going to be too much for you. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Never mind, it's almost 300 I think that you have, which is good. You have more options, but that also means that we have work to do there and a lot of gains to be made. So you check the vmatrix command for Lumis?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay, let's check that one, because the vmatrix command looks for all the characters, so you can use it later for the Kana as well, or for any other characters that you want to do the make into a bossing mule. You just look up the character and then you can see which trios you're looking for with the matrix.
Oh yeah, I checked that. I mean, I thought it was going to be something different. I checked which are the trios that I need the best, but can you repeat that part that you said that you share them with other characters, or what were you trying to say?
What I was trying to say is that it has all the classes in there. So if you're trying to make a bossing mule or something, then you also know exactly what to look for on those. So they'll be useful.
I believe I have exactly I have the first trio. I have another one that it's that has the reflection and apocalypse, and another I think Morningstar is. So it boosts up a lot more the reflection and the apocalypse. But I don't have the second trio just yet. I haven't gotten that one yet.
Okay, yeah, because you have a lot of nodes. I'll leave it up to you that you know and that you've checked through the boost nodes to see which ones you have and which ones you don't. So
correct.
When you,
I think some of them I left them there because I know there's something to gain from those like skills like I just forgot the name of the green eyes stuff. Oh yeah, the sharp eyes. I know there's some decent skills that are very good, so I didn't want to destroy them yet. Right. But I know I have a lot more nodes that can be disassembled, so I can use them for points.
Right, yeah, okay. So let's go with the one that you can always disassemble. Basically, well, you probably won't have any of them left, like the special nodes, but typically all the special nodes you can get rid of. If you're training a lot, then character building 1 can be pretty useful.
Yeah, I don't have any special nodes. I think I usually disassemble those.
Yeah, okay. The skill nodes that you can always get rid of is Decent Mystic Door. You have 2 of those. You can always get rid of that one. Blink is pretty much always useless. You already have a built-in blink as a Lumi already as well, so blink is pretty useless as well. The bind has some uses. I would for now probably just keep like 1 level 1 bind, just in case there's like a niche scenario where you need it, but the extras you can probably get rid of. If you get really far with this character and you want to go really harder, then later on you can just, open the thousands of nodes that you have saved up when you're super high level, and you just level it up if you want to. And then, decent hyper body you can get rid of.
The combo orders, is that like a so-so?
I'm not sure how good the combat orders are for the Lumi. Maybe someone in chat can shed a little bit of light on that. But as there's definitely some use in combat orders for some classes. The main way to check is just equipping combat orders and using it, and then looking at your fourth job tab and then seeing what gets leveled up. If it gives you any kind of final damage or critical damage or boss damage or percentage magic attack or something like that, then that will help you. That will help you disproportionately more than other people. In general, it's not one of the top things people select, but depending on the class, it can be like number 10 that you select or like number 20. Eventually, most people use it though.
It seems that it's good for final damage. And
yeah, C-Specio says it gives you a lot of final damage. Yeah, it's so it boosts your main attacks, which that's always nice. But if you have a lot of passives or those kind of stats that get increased by your fourth job, then that will be useful as well. It's possible that you only use it in like 10 or 15 levels, but with the compensation, with the potions, with the triple EXP, all of that stuff, it's very possible that those extra 15 levels, that's like within a month that you have that,
All right.
Even though that might seem like pretty crazy now, but with the amount of stuff that you already have and with the compensation on top of it, the leveling will definitely pick up a lot. Lomir also says it's pretty good because you have final damage skills. Yeah, so that's typically what you're looking for. If you can get final damage out of it, then that's very useful. Because, right, it's final damage always, so that means that your basic kill speed will go up, which means you can train faster.
Perfect.
So there is one more V skill that you don't have yet, so you probably want to make that one. I believe, and I'm going to ask the Loomies in the chat again, I believe it's mainly good for bossing, and it's kind of just like weird to use for mobbing, because you create like a bunch of extra orbs around you that like seek targets in the map and kill them, but I believe their targeting is a little bit bad in the sense that they all kind of tend to choose the same target and then kind of overkill it. If they would all choose a different target, I think the skill would be really, really good for mobbing, but I think their AI logic is a bit scuffed for that, so I'm not sure that Loomies actually use it for mobbing. Good for bossing, kind of useless for mobbing. Okay, so that's mainly, that's probably not, it's only bossing and clearing the map bosses. Right, okay. Yeah, they all go to one mob, exactly. Yeah, so when you activate it, there's like a bunch of colored orbs around you, and they just fire out to targets. But yeah, so their targeting is really bad, so it's not really useful for mobbing. So
yeah,
as you get stronger and go further and open more nodes, you'll probably get one eventually. If you don't get one and you get to the point where you're trying to do, like, let's say Lotus and Damien and stuff, at that point, adding it into your rotation will be very, very useful. But things like CRA and HMAG and those bosses, they should, even without that skill, be very doable with the whole the kit that you have, right? With baptism and when your boost nodes get higher level, that kind of stuff.
All right.
I would say that your boost nodes for now are very good. When you get to level 40, of course, you hit that that extra IED. That's always very nice, especially for bossing. And Ender will be, of course, useful to boost for during bossing. Yeah, you have a 3 out of 3 and a 2 out of 3. Probably since you last played though, like, did you notice teleport being way more responsive?
Yes, I know that they have changed our teleporting about 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time that they shortened it a lot, and it made it a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember enough the difference. But I have felt a little bit of a difference, either good or bad. I haven't really checked.
Mm-hmm. And Apocalypse, I think, is a lot faster, right? A lot of your skills and a lot of your buffs happen a lot faster.
The buff are incredibly faster.
Yeah. There were 2 rounds of basically, they're like decreased the cast time by 50%, and then another patch of like decreasing everything by another 30%. They made it way faster.
Yeah, we have to use them a lot because I think there are like the 3-minute buffs, and and they used to take a lot of time.
Yeah, they definitely ease that up a lot. And I think Apocalypse as an attack is also a lot faster, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The main dark attack, right?
Yeah, Apocalypse.
I think in the past everyone just hated it and just wanted to spam reflection, but now some people even prefer it in some bosses because of the hitbox that it has.
Yes, and then usually there's good maps depending on how the platform is set up. Because reflections, you don't control when it's gonna bounce.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want it to bounce down, and it doesn't really do it, or it doesn't bounce at all.
Yep. It's like, there's like one right next to it. It's like, why aren't you killing it? It's like, well, didn't feel like it.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Somebody mentioned in the chat that I know I do want the one attack speed inner ability. I tried getting for it. That's the last. When I made a big push with the points on REXP and with some circulators, I didn't get it.
Yep.
I don't know. I thought there was like a big deal not too long ago about how the inner ability worked. Was that some kind of rumor, or was that actually a thing?
No, yeah, there was a. Well, that's part of why we're getting all of. Well, that's mainly why we're getting all the compensation, is because basically a lot of the systems in the game, apparently there were kind of like recipes, quote unquote, that you could do. So if you already had a certain line in your inner ability, then if you got another line, if you would lock that line and then roll, you could manipulate the chances of getting other things. So I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something like, oh, if you have a unique attack line, and you lock it, then you have like, instead of having 1 in 200 chance or something of getting attack speed +1, you have like 80% chance or something of getting it. Because there was a video of someone, I think they rolled about 40 times and they got attack speed +1 over 25 times, I think.
But is that something that has been like patched, or is it actually?
Yeah, so when people found this out, they started checking other things out as well and noticed, you know, when you have a flame, why is there almost always jump when it also has all stats? Like, why do we see those stats together so much? And apparently with how the flame stats were rolled, you kind of use the same thing, where if one of them already exists, the chance of another thing occurring was way higher. And because basically the players exposed this and found that a lot of the RNG systems work like that, and that cubing to an extent also worked like that. Yeah, that's why all of the drama came around. And that definitely not rumors. That was all like very, very real. So they've worked on changing that logic very quickly. They also recently removed avoidability from the inner abilities, and that's why we get compensation for the flames. That's why we get compensation for the honor experience that was spent over that time to compensate people for basically having been lied to and what the chances are, what the odds are. Because they said it's like, it's random, like it's just, you know, it's all just equally random, but it wasn't. It was very heavily weighted. So
I'm gonna see how can I push for either more Onyx EXP in one of the events to try to get the attack speed.
Yeah, so the main thing is going to be, once you get drop rate, you'll get a lot more honor medals just to drop from monsters. If you can get honor EXP from shops, there are honor experience medals coming in the upcoming anniversary event, so that might be useful for you to look into.
I remember the Mulong dojo, you need to do it for honor EXP.
Yes, and then the dojo is another one, yeah. So if you just do one, just try to go as far as you can in one run, and then, you know, depending on your rank, if you're in the top 70%, I believe, then on Monday you will get rewards based on how far you got in the previous week. So you just need one good run. They did change the Mulong Dojo a little bit though. Make sure that you don't use any buffs before you go in, because before you go in, you go to like a buffing room. And then while going into that room, you lose all your buffs, and then in that room, you have to pop all your buffs.
Oh, I'm guessing they were trying to avoid getting buffs from other people.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, don't pop like important buffs and then go in, because then you're like, oh, then everything is on cooldown and everything is gone in there. So, you know, take all your potions with you, first go in, then pop everything, and then you can like start. There'll be like a countdown, and then you can start the actual run.
Yeah. Floors, yeah. All right, thank you. That's a good tip.
Yeah, because I made that mistake definitely never myself.
I
would never do. No, I would never pop like all my half-hour buffs and my guild skills, and then walk in and have the guild skills be stripped and 1 hour cooldown. That's not me, dude.
No, nothing at all.
Yeah,
that's a scar chart. That's not you.
Yeah, someone in chat did that. It's like, oof, wow, I have to make sure I tell you so that you don't make that same silly mistake. Yeah, so I guess eventually you're still gonna just look for the perfect trinode, right? But that will just come up eventually, or you can craft with the shards. I imagine that you have a lot of stuff that you can disassemble, and then with those you can just craft a lot. Although your second node is a main Morningstar boost node, right?
My second node.
Because it's on the bottom
Yes.
left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
That's why it usually takes a little bit longer time. I haven't gotten. I think I don't remember if the first one is actually. I don't even. Yeah, it is. I only have one perfect throw node, and the second one is just Morningstar boosted. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd ideally want to look for an Ender or Reflection starting node with all three.
Yeah, I try to save all of them that have one of those three to see how I can like get the best out of them, but no dice yet. Yeah.
Wait, so between all of the nodes that you have, are all of those these 6 skills? Are all of those Reflection, Apocalypse, Ender, Spectral Light, Morningstar, or Death Sight?
Let me see. Yeah, I closed the game. I'm not sure. I need to. I would need to confirm. I haven't entered. I haven't entered too much into the V matrix after I came back.
Yeah. So if you have any boost nodes that were their main skill, right? You know what the main skill is. If they're not one of those 6, then you could just immediately extract them and get rid of them.
Yeah, extract them.
And clean it up. Yeah. And then within all the ones that are, yeah.
Sorry, if they don't use one of the main ones, I can just destroy them because I won't be able to mix them together.
Exactly, you won't use them to empower, and you won't want to level them up anyway. So just get rid of them, and then with those shards, you can make nodes, and it'd probably be a good idea to just try to make either Reflection or Ender nodes just until you get like a perfect try. So immediately start mass leveling that, and then you can probably use that one and the 2 that you have now to get like very high levels of Reflection and Apocalypse until you go over a total level of 60, and then you can change your Morningstar boost into having one with Morningstar and the other 2 skills from the Matrix grid.
Okay, I think I have. I didn't mention it in the. I think I have like 2K points available to make those.
Okay, that's a lot.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if.
Yeah, you can make them in multiple now as well. You can make like 20 at a time if you want.
Oh, I remember it was used to be.
Yeah, one at a time was nightmare. Yeah, they added that after like 3 years finally.
let me confirm to you while you keep going how many points I have.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's probably a good idea to just craft Ender and Reflections until you get your perfect try, and then just dump everything in there and probably immediately get to like level 15 or something with how many I think you have.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it'll mainly be, your boost nodes will probably level up pretty quickly. It'll mainly be just those 2 try nodes, and then the skill nodes will be very important. It won't be too important to go for that like second set of boost nodes yet, because you're basically only going to be using those once you're like 255, 260, and you have so much room and nothing to put it in basically, that's when you will start looking for those extra boost nodes as well.
If I'm not mistaken, the skill nodes, you only get them by the nodes. You cannot craft them, right?
No, you can craft skill nodes as well.
Oh, I didn't.
If you go to node, so you have to talk to a node collector, right? And then go to node crafting, and you'll see all the ones you can craft. You can also craft the special nodes.
All right.
Yeah, but those only last 1 week. So if you do craft a special node, let's say that you're going like very hard on training, and you kind of have one slot open that you don't really use anyway, you could make the character building, use it for a week, and then right before it expires, extract it again and get some of the shards back if you want to. That could also speed up your.
I'm checking my notes now, like you mentioned, all of them, the main one, the starting one, the one that you use to boost it, they're all the low level kills from the Lumi/Shower, all those small ones. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, you could probably disassemble like 4 or 5 screens of. If you're selecting a lot of them, your game will start lagging. So I would only do like 1 or 2 pages max, and then just extract and then start on the next one. Because once it starts lagging, if your mouse slips a little bit and clicks in the wrong spot, everything gets unselected.
MapleStory doesn't lag. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, there's no bugs, but it's just it's like a server. It's a feature. Yeah, it's a feature where to protect you from not clicking too many things and maybe accidentally making a mistake.
Yeah. User error.
Yeah. There's actually more stuff coming with Neo as well to like save people from accidentally extracting the wrong stuff and everything. Even 5 years after the system came out, they're still coming up with new ideas to prevent you from making completely preventable mistakes. But because after that, it's probably going to be important to level up your skill nodes, because those do a lot of damage for Lumi as well, especially during bossing, and that'll help you get more firepower. your door will be very useful for mobbing, and then the conduit and the other two will do a lot of damage for bossing.
Yep.
I mean, if you have so many shards, it's probably a good idea to just make the fourth skill so you can just play around with it a little bit.
You mean the fourth skill? Which one?
Yeah, what's the name exactly? It's
You mean the one with the orbs? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, with the orbs, yeah, exactly, yeah, that one.
Yeah, I'll check which one that is.
If you go to crafting, it's it should be like the last one mentioned next to the other three, so it should be pretty clear which one it is. It's probably the one skill where you're like, I don't know what this is. I think Liberation Orb, I think? I'm not sure about the name.
Yeah, Liberation Orb, that's correct. Manifest orbs of both light and darkness.
Yep, exactly. But I think that will... Does it explain most of the matrix and what to do there?
No, that's all that it says for that node.
Okay. Yeah, you'll just have to use it and just see what it does, and you'll see for mobbing, all of the balls just go on one target, and you're like, oh, this is kind of bad.
Yeah, since it's more for bossing, I'll keep that in mind when I start pushing more towards the bossing aspect.
For sure. One thing we didn't talk about with Legion and Lynx, I know, is like how you fill up the grid. Because we were basically trying to puzzle with the grid filling, and because you're soon at 3K, right? That's when you really get enough room in your grid, where you can really start filling up the outsides. Most important is probably going to be to fill your crit rate, as long as you still aren't at 100%. That's going to be top priority. And then
even better, because I was trying to put like the main stat for the specific mule I was working on. It's better to put it into crit.
Yes, better into crit. Yeah, you want to get your crit rate up, and then and critical damage. Those are going to be the most important. Have you seen the Legion building tool that someone made, where you can basically?
I've seen it, but I haven't tried to change my build just yet. But yeah, I saw it. I saw that it's like a calculator of sorts.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Right.
So if you have region click, I think like that, you can turn it off. So what you basically are gonna want to do is like this. Like this is gonna be like your start.
Okay.
And then if you're gonna be bossing more, then you wanna like add this one, right? And then if you have anything left, then you can do bossing as well. But like.
So after you fill it up, it tells you what pieces you need?
So you have to put here which pieces you have. I just put some random numbers in, and then if you click start, it'll just tell you like, boop, this is how you can put them, and then you can just follow the build.
Right, perfect.
Yeah, the only restriction is like whatever piece is in the middle here, the emblem in the piece has to be in one of these 4 squares, right?
Okay.
So that's why this piece is here, because the emblem will be in the middle here, and that's part of the 4, so that's how you can build it.
Yeah, you have to start from the middle.
Yeah, that's usually why in the beginning your Legion, not yours specifically, but like everyone's looks a little bit scuffed, because then the pieces start getting bigger and you start slowly getting more space and everything starts like blurring out. But yeah, like critical rate, critical damage, that's like the most important one. And then IED for bossing, and then boss damage if you have anything left over. And the middle is basically just used to connect all the outsides.
Right.
Essentially, yeah. And then once you know, if you have too much or you have too much space, then you can put the extra in the middle, of course, for extra stats. And then you can just reassign the middle stats, right, with the arrow key. You know how to do that?
The middle stat?
Yeah, so you have like a little arrow next to the stat, and if you click that, you can switch which stat is there.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, because you can't do that with the outside, so that's why it's important to
lock. Since I'm not too touching the outside, I just usually shift it to the main stat, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But now when I'm getting closer to the crit rate difference, then that would be more. Well, I should incline it more to that side that can't be changed.
Yeah, it's not as important when you're just barely at 2K, because it's like one little ridge. It doesn't do that much. But once you hit 3K, you also get 5 extra characters. Yeah, right. You go from 13 to 18 that you can put on the board, and you get the extra.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think I'm in 2994 right now.
Yeah, so that's a perfect time to like rank it, and you have enough coins saved up from over time to be able to rank it up. So you can rank it up, and then just clear the whole board, use the builder help, and then just boom, fill it up.
Perfect.
So that'll be good. And then based on how much you have there, Then you want to fill up to get your critical rate, hopefully to very close to 100, with the hyperstats. Hyperstats will be very important then, because I think right now you don't have any in crit rate, so that'll probably have to move around a little bit.
Yeah, I think I don't have much crit rate right now. Yeah, nothing at all. Yeah, I think at that time I was. I don't remember what I was trying to do there. Probably something with I don't know, trying to kill a little bit more effectively somewhere. But yeah, crit rate is a lot better. I didn't have it that prevalent in my mind.
Yeah, because even if your critical damage isn't that high in your stat window, just hitting a crit is already 20 to 50%. Even if you have 0 there. So if you have 48, it's between 68 and 98% damage extra. Like, which is kind of like final damage, but only on crits, and it's additive. But it kind of works like a final damage. That's why it's also so important to build up your crit rate, because you know, final damage is the best, but you know, almost no access, you know, with decent combat orders, or you know, with the changes coming in that the KMS said now that they are going to change the damage percentage to final damage instead, as the reboot buff. That would be really big.
I think that they mentioned something in the chat that I think was something I didn't remember. Since most of the time, at least when I'm embossing, I'm already doing 100% crits with my Equilibrium. Maybe that's why I didn't have a crit rate in my hyperstats.
That is possible.
Because I'm always going to be doing 100%, but maybe that's why. But I know it's kind of complicated.
Yeah, you don't need it for bossing, but you do need it for mobbing. So typically what you go for is you go for enough. You basically you put in your crit links first, right, for the mobbing situation, and then you add your then you add everything else to get to 100% in mobbing with the links, and then for bossing you just switch out the links for bossing links instead, typically. And then when Neo comes around, then you can always rely on the 15% from the passive instead, and then you just build around having 100% always, basically. Because around that time, for bossing, you'll be around the point where it doesn't really matter if for some bosses sometimes you don't have you don't need to min-max that much. It's more important to just make sure you always have 100% crit, so you never have to worry about it.
Makes sense.
Lumi be like an archer because they need the extra. You need to go over 100% crit. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, right now it's gonna be better once we get the fix after Neo. It's after Neo, by the way. It's not like with Neo, but it's gonna be like September or something. So it's still quite a while away.
Quite a ways off, yeah.
Yeah, or not September, but like August.
I still have a good time of progression I have to do, so I'll be fine.
It'll mainly be just that you just get rid of, like, you'll just move your pieces around in your Legion board and your hyperstats, which is very cheap to do. So it's better than having to redo your potential on your emblem or your weapon or your secondary, right? That's way more expensive and way harder to do.
Definitely.
Okay, so familiars, you have the old.
I haven't used anything at all from familiars. The system wasn't implemented when I was playing last time. I used to have. I have 3 spiders. I used to have three spiders. Sorry, and that's about it. I was at the beginning. I was like cashing in those the cards that I was getting from the characters. Then I read something about you should keep them for a higher level, and I just kind of stopped until the progression.
Yeah, so there's 2 major things. One is that you can extract, and the other one is that you can fuse. With extraction, you could buy booster packs and like extended duration, and with fusing, you can level them up, rank them up, and then tier them up to the higher rank. Fusion needs a lot of cards though, like 100 for each one. So unless you have like hundreds of a certain kind, extraction is just fine. Just like reveal them, see if you get something useful, if you still need something, right? And if you don't need something useful, you just move on. You just extract them, and then you can buy booster packs or just save the points for, you know, if you want to revive your familiars if they do end up dying or something. Keep a little bit of a buffer, unless you until you get to areas where when you're training, they just drop while you're training, and you can literally just get hundreds, thousands of them. Until you get to that point, it's fine to just extract, like reveal, see if you get something useful, and then extract. So the stats,
So it doesn't really matter which character, monster it is. What matters now is just the stat.
The rank. So whatever rank it is will determine what the possible outcomes of the stats are.
So you don't. Let me put an example to see if I can understand. You don't get a spider anymore because you're looking for the item and meso drop rate, or you still do get the spider and you try to get a lot of the cards for the spider so you can upgrade it.
So you could get, so there are options. Let's say that the spider map was like really good for getting a lot of cards, then you could still go for spiders to try to get the line. But it's not because spiders specifically drop that line, but it's because you can get a lot of spiders and that the rarity of the spider allows you to drop that line. So typically you go to areas where you can just get a lot of familiars because then you have more chances of getting what you want. But the specific monster does not determine what the specific line is going to be. Only the rarity of the familiar card.
Understood. Yeah, perfect.
So if you want to rank up, then you always want to be in the same area for a long period of time to get hundreds of cards, so you can fuse them all together and have a chance. Because the higher rank you go, the more chance of failure, the more cards you need to throw in, and the higher the rarity, also the more potential outcome line, so the more chance of getting a bad line as well. And we have no way of re-rolling the cards, so it's like one tier up, and then if it's shit, it's shit. You can tier it up again for unique if you want, but then if it's shitty on unique, then it's absolutely worthless. So.
Oh, more RNG?
Yes, more RNG. Beautiful. So in the beginning, what you look for is percentage IED. You can get 15% IED lines on common and rare, so that's pretty useful. Or what your spider has, but you already have the spider, so you can completely skip that part. Or any kind of healing can be useful in some boss fights. That's the only thing that's useful on these tiers. If it doesn't have that, you can just extract it, get the points, maybe buy a booster pack, and then that's it. And the cards won't drop until you get to Moonbridge. That's level 245 area. And then you can start getting a lot of them while you're training. And then you can start with fusing and leveling them up and looking for something useful in epic or unique lines.
All right. Thanks. I'll keep it in mind.
Yep.
I know a little bit off, but I'll keep it in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the ID will be good for short term to equip, definitely, so you can get more damage when you're bossing.
So I can check one of the cards I already have to see if I have that, perhaps?
Yeah, so if you open it up, and then you go to the collection.
Yeah.
And then if you click on a card on the left side, you'll have a question mark. You click the question mark, and then it'll reveal the stats that it has.
All right. I just tried it.
Yeah.
So you gotta do it for each card revealed. Then you do it. If it's not worth it, you just extract it, right?
Yeah, so
or
you can
use it.
so you can reveal a bunch. If it has something useful, you can use the little lock on the top right. And it'll get locked, and then it won't show up in extraction or fusion. It'll get saved from showing up there.
Okay, understood. Yep.
And then if you go to extraction, you can just click like select all, and then all the ones that don't have a lock on it will get selected. Boom, you can extract all. Also, if you do this, your game lags a lot and sometimes crashes. You know, welcome to MapleStory again, I guess. So what you can do is if you select a lot of cards like this to extract... right after you click extract, you press escape and hold it down. And then it will just close when it's done, and the end lag will not exist, and you can make sure that your game doesn't crash. If you do it perfectly timed, then the UI will close immediately, and the cards will all be extracted immediately. Yeah, otherwise you might get a lot of lag and maybe even crash your game later, so that's not very good.
Alright, I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, it's another...
To not do it before a boss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do it when you're like standing in a town map, very safe, and nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
I guess then the last thing to look at is your equips, right?
Yep.
So the main thing is going to be your weapon, secondary, and emblem. When it comes to upgrading, 30% off Star Force events and 1+1 Star Force events, those will be the main ways of getting all of your equips to 15 stars. So these are part of Sunny Sundays. So whenever we get a patch, which will hopefully we'll get the patch notes next Tuesday, maybe next Wednesday. In the patch notes, they will always say what the Sunny Sunday events are and when they're going to, what they are exactly going to be, which Sundays. So that's usually
plan ahead.
Exactly. Plan ahead on when do you want your money ready, where do you want it, and what is your goal for all of the items, basically. I always put these on the...
I know my stats are a little bit all over the place, yeah.
Yeah, so we want to like unify those, right? We want to kind of make sure that we all get them at the same level, and then and then go from there. So to get everything to 15, you want to look for 30% off or 1+1 Star Force events. That's the most important to look for. And then, of course, once you're at 15, then you want to look for 5, 10, 15 events to get to 17 stars from there. for Star Force. That's going to be the main thing to look for you.
Right.
Do you have full Abzo, or are you still missing a few pieces, right?
No, I think I'm missing the cape.
The cape and the shoe?
Yeah, cape and shoe.
Mm-hmm.
I have. Let me see. The Abso is with. Yeah, I think I'm missing a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fine. It's mainly like the set bonus.
Can you remind me what's the coin for the Abso thing? Isn't it the diffusion energy one?
The cape and the shoe are both from the Lotus shop, so that will be part of the scrapyard dailies, and the drops the energy core S, I believe.
Yeah. Energy core A, I believe.
Yeah, the A and the S. The S is the drop, I think, from Lotus, and then the A is from the dailies, I think.
Correct.
And you have to like fuse them together.
Yeah, I have some of them, but I know I'm sure I'm missing more.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm missing the S cores. I need to do with the boss.
The boss.
I have grade A cores.
Yeah. So the dailies are now weeklies, reset from Sunday to Monday. And they're part of the dailies command in the chat, where you can see get a link to them, because some of them are very bad weeklies that like take a long time to complete, and other ones are fast.
Correct.
So you can see which ones to reroll and which ones to keep. Because you need you can get 13 I think per week, and you need 20 per coin. So you need like 40 in total more if you don't have any to craft the last 2 items.
Yep.
So that'll be a useful thing. And do you have the full superior set, right?
Do you mean the
Gollux? Superior Gollux.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I do. Let me see. Yeah,
I think so, because I see some green,
some
green lines.
Yeah. I do.
Okay. So I guess the other thing will be like ring-wise. Yeah, you want to bring the kind of treasure up. The Silver Blossom and the Sylph Ring we'll want to phase out for other things instead.
Yeah, I have the very old ring.
We do have some event rings coming now in the anniversary event, so it'd probably be an idea to switch both of these out. Maybe for the Chaos Ring and then either the Cosmos or the Vengeful Reboot. It'll be fine to get like 2 or 3 rings for this character extra that you can rely on for now for damage, and then later you can move those into becoming drop rate rings as you get other rings that will replace these, like a Meister Ring or Reinforced Ring, or even stronger event rings in Neo maybe. And then you can just re-roll whatever you have now for drop rate or Meso Obtain.
I think before I left, I was trying to start my journey towards Meister crafting, but I kind of stopped there. I'm gonna check eventually the steps for that again.
Yeah, it'll probably just be back down to 10. It's fine to not go for that too quickly, because unless you're going to push past 17, it's not super worth early on to get it. Because with Neo, we have the strongest rings coming back. We have the Awake Ring, the Tenebris Ring, and the Glory Ring, which are the ones with 40 all stat and 25 magic attack base stats that are coming back. And those are basically equivalent to 17-star rings, but you just, boom, you get them like that, just upgraded. So those will probably be with you for quite a while if you get those.
So those will be the best for me to replace the Silver Blossom one, yeah.
Yeah, but that's in Neo, right? So that's only in June. So you could use the other event rings for now, and then switch those into pure drop rate rings after. And those rings for Neo, you'll be able to buy 5 for your whole account. So you can also maybe get one on the Kana. For the Kana, they'll be very good, right? Because they also have a lot of HP and MP that Kana scales off of. And you can maybe get 1 or 2 on one of the bossing mules to get them a little bit of extra damage.
All right. Just to let you know, I have about doesn't matter if we finish or not, I have about 4 minutes left before I have to get back to work.
Yeah, that's good, because I've had to pee for like the last 20 minutes too, so I'm trying to like wrap it up ASAP as well. I'm like wobbling in my chair the whole time.
You're probably dying, I know.
Yeah, so that'll be the main thing. I think it's okay once you go to, so like once your WSE is good, I think it's probably like potential wise, you do have 15% on the secondary. You have 21 here on the emblem. Probably the next step will be to work on trying to get the secondary. You have another secondary, right?
I have one, yes, but not the Princess No one, just the Karma Orb.
Oh, okay, so it's just it's like the same base stats.
Yep. No, I mean the the Karma Orb has unique, but it doesn't have any stats. It doesn't have the 14 int, but I'm guessing that won't be too much of a difference.
No, it's not an endgame thing, no. Yeah, probably the like potential wise, it'll be somewhere between. You probably want to get a little bit better on the weapon, just to try to get for 2 lines magic attack. That'll be just better across the board.
Yes, I remember I was trying to push. I was trying to push more towards getting money to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last time I left, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, so I think with the hyperstats, with the working on the link skills and doing more dailies, and with all of the progress and with the coupons, you'll be leveling faster and making a lot more money. Sherbet will be looting everything more. Oh yeah, for familiars, make sure you check ! Familiars. Has a lot of extra information as well, with like the drop rate and how it stacks with everything.
Yeah, perfect.
Like with the familiars and with the spiders and all that stuff. Yeah, so work on the Abzo equips set bonus. You know which events to look out for to get to 17 stars at least. Star Force is going to be probably the most important. So like the potential link, that's like after that.
Right.
Probably going to get 2-line magic attack legendary on the secondary and the weapon, and then after that it'll be important, specifically, you know, because you might not have the Kana setup. If you do have the Kana setup and you want to make that as your main income, then get money towards that one to make it stronger, so that you can start farming there. If you're not going to do that, more money towards the Lumi first and getting your accessories on the Lumi to legendary, so you can start getting Mezzo and drop rate there, so you can make more money while you're trading on that one.
Perfect. I'll keep that in mind. It'll probably be the Lumi, but I'll keep that in mind because Karma, the Kana is longer ways off.
Mm-hmm. The fan will be a huge boost though. You'll get a lot of, especially if you get a nice flame. So that's for your flames. I probably first aim for like a nice tier 6 magic attack flame on your on the fan if you do get it on the Kana, and the rest for the flames would go towards Abzo on your Lumi.
All right, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you already did the hearts. Other than that, just keep an eye on ! Events. I always put the patch notes on there. Remember, with the Sunny Sundays and with all the information from the patch notes, to make sure that you can find all the events that are going on, and links to the patch notes and when they start and when they end and everything. Yep.
I think we're good, and I think you need to go hurry up to the
Yeah, I really think so too.
All right, man. Thanks for the session. I'll just pop in any other questions in the chat or to you guys.
All right.
Go.
Good.
Go.
Welcome back, and good luck with everything.
Thank you very much, man. Take care.
All right, bye. Man, I was gonna say hasta luego because I think he's like Spanish speaking, because I think I heard a little bit of accent, and I think he said correct a lot, which I think is like kind of a Spanish thing to do, right? We say correcto. But yes, hopefully that was very, very useful for all of you guys, people who came back after a long time of not playing. Thank you for checking it out. Hopefully it was very informative and educational for you. That's a real word, by the way. And be sure to check the description of the video if you want one of these sessions, or if you have additional questions, of course, where to find me, or if you have information for me on Reboot in terms of the monsters you kill per hour when you're training, the just a video of you rotation during your mobbing in Tenebris, or if you have battle analysis numbers for me, I will use that input to advise other players on where to go, what kind of numbers they want to be aiming for, and just in general, just to give back to the community resources with reasonable expectations in it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.